Thanks for the help, you twat.
We've been doing the fire.
Yeah, I can feel the heat from here.
I swear I sprained my ankle back there.
You didn't. Minor twist, maybe. I'll give it a massage if you like.
Oh, you lay one finger on me and I'll cut your balls.
Blimey, I thought you exchange students were a bit more accommodating.
And apparently, if you're really quiet, you can still hear their pleas for help. Help, help, help.
The ghost stories. Yeah, let's see who can freak the others out the most.
Okay, who first? It's you, Christine.
Oh, this is going so well. I can smell the tutu already.
Shut up, you annoying twat.
Oh, nice one. You have to edit that out, you know?
Wait a second. This isn't mine. Yes. Yes, we should mourn. Sarah made a great sacrifice for us, so that we can fulfill our needs, its needs. We are alive and free for another few hours, but now it is time to place our next member in isolation. I believe the next oldest person in the group is... The preacher stopped mid-sentence, eyes flicking from face to face. He was scanning the room. His brows furrowed and a hand started tapping on the wooden pew next to Emily's shoulder. A sigh escaped from his lips, and it seemed to take a great effort to swallow his saliva. You see, we are here for the greater good. We are here to save ourselves, save each other. For what is love if there is no sacrifice? Now, some people don't seem to understand this philosophy. Some people think running away is a viable option when it comes to this important practice. You are safe now. And with that, the first nail was driven into her wrist.
Shall we tell each other ghost stories? Yeah, let's see who can freak the others out the most.
Okay, who first?
Wait a second. This isn't mine.
Oh, yeah. Pull the other one. What's this, you creepy setup? Boring.
No, seriously, look. As if I have paper like this.
On a dark and spooky night, Ellie sits down and tells a spooky story that's been planted in her pocket by supernatural beings.
No, seriously.
Oh, come on, Ellie, just read the story. The sooner we're done with this, the sooner we can get down to Bob.
Piss off, I am not going to Bob.
Oh, come on, it might be funny.
Dressed like this.
As if that matters at Bob.
Just read the fucking story.
Due to the nature of this horrible incident, police are insisting that residents make sure their houses are secure and advise that they only venture outside if it is an emergency. More on the story as it... Not a pointless answer, I'm afraid. Our zero scorers this week were Panama, Perth City, and Paris. So well done if you've got any of those at home. Katie liked game shows. They always distracted her, just enough to forget everything for a few minutes. She opened the microwave door, slid in the greyish remains of last night's dinner, and shut it. After a few seconds' pause, she repeated this process again, and then again. Satisfied, she set the timer. The metallic hum was a sound she was all too familiar with. 2009. Katie, for God's sake, eat your vegetables. You can't just eat the meat. Her mother's instructions fell on occupied ears. Why would she listen to that?
Katie then carefully unbuttoned his shirt, her lips turning up at the edges. Let's make some art.
Do you actually know how to start a fire?
Yes, it's just a bit damp.
Yeah, no shit. Let me have a go.
Thanks for the help, you twats.
We've been doing the fire.
Yeah, I can feel the heat from here. Oh! I swear I sprained my ankle back there. I'll give it a massage if you like.
What?
Your mum?
Can you cut the crap and give us a hand?
Anytime. Come on, let the pro have a go.
May as well have a drink while our Bear Grylls does this thing. You go.
Oh, jeez. Hilarious. Put the bloody fire out now too.
Wasn't even lit.
Bollocks, it was just starting to take. Forget about it. We don't need a fire anyway.
Yes, we do. How can we tell campfire stories about a campfire?
Well, it's there, just doesn't have to be lit. We'll make sure the camera doesn't focus on it.
Why the bloody hell if we walked all the way up here?
Haven't you ever heard of method acting?
Method this.
Oh, shut up. I don't want to be here all night.
Okay, who first?
It's you, Frank.
God, this is going so well. I can smell the tutu already.
Shut up, you annoying twat.
Oh, nice one. You have to dip that out, you know.
Wait a minute. This isn't mine.
Oh yeah, pull the other one. What's this, your creepy setup? Boring.
No, seriously, look, as if I'd have paper like
On
this.
a dark and spooky night, Frank sits around a campfire and tells a spooky story that's been planted in his pocket by supernatural beings.
No, seriously.
Piss off, I'm not going to bop. I don't know why I just said that.
Just read the fucking story.
They're not. Lacerations are irregular tears caused by blunt force trauma. Razors cause incisions because their edges are sharp and clean. The knife snapped in Robbie's hand. Plastic splintered between his fingers. His brow furrowed. He was gripping the shards like he was in one of those prison movies, the kinds Robbie's older brother would sneak us when he was babysitting. Robbie wouldn't stab me, though. Don't you care? He eventually asked. I thought about the question. Yes, but it's none of my business. And you shouldn't be getting the terminology wrong. You don't care. If you cared, you'd get your nose out of those doctor books. She's your sister, not a Frankenstein experiment.
Some of them were dead, brown digits crammed between those still fighting for life, feeding on my sister. I saw them everywhere. They bulged under the skin like pimples. They wriggled in gashes, some breaking free and dragging themselves across the massive fat and pus, some burrowing deeper. Her skin was alive with mounds bubbling inside of her, like cockroaches trapped under a carpet. And then there was a leg. A single insectile leg stretched slowly out from one of the incisions. The claw at its tip kept growing, reaching out from the biggest gash on Kate's stomach. A thick, black limb spiked with hairs rising in the dark, cracking as each joint extended. It beckoned me, bending to brush up against my pajama top, contorting to slide in between the buttonholes. A guttural cry emerged from my throat. I fell back onto the carpet. The leg swiftly withdrew to somewhere biologically impossible. The squelch seemed to echo. Woken by my scream, Kate threw her body upright, her eyes widened with sudden realization. Did it touch you? I panted, suppressing vomit again, and could not speak. Kate was in a frenzy that I couldn't understand. Oh my God, Tom, please say it didn't touch you.
Do I know how to light a fire?
Thanks for the help, you swat.
I've been doing the fire.
Yeah, I can feel the heat from here. Ooh! I swear I sprained my ankle back there. I'll give you a massage if you like.
What?
Your mum,
Oh, can you cut the crap and give us a hand?
anytime.
Oh.
Come on, let the pro have a go. Thank you. Why the bloody hell have we walked all the way up here then?
Haven't you ever heard of method acting?
Method this.
Oh, shut up. I don't want to be here all night.
Fine. Who's filming?
Say hello. Freezing.
Yeah.
Oh, sexist.
How the hell is that sexist?
Oh, okay, let's just get on with this, okay?
Is it recording? Good.
I can't believe that it was 10 years ago on this very spot that all those students were murdered.
Can I have some cheese with that ham?
And apparently, if you're really quiet, you can still hear their pleas for help.
No, nothing. Nothing at all. Sorry.
Shall we tell each other ghost stories?
Yeah. Let's see who can freak each other out the most.
Okay, who first?
It's you, Melina. Oh, this is going so well. I can smell the tutu already.
Oh, shut up, you annoying twat.
Oh, nice one. You have to edit that out, you know.
Hold on. This isn't mine.
Oh, yeah. Pull the other one. What's this? Freak me out.
No,
boring.
Seriously, as if I'd have paper like this. Piss off! I'm not going to bop. I don't know why I said that.
Just read the fucking story.
I finally went to open the door and immediately wished I hadn't. Throughout the hospital hallways permeated the most awful smell. It was though rotten meat and sanitary towels had been left out in the feverish heat and placed in the air vents. But it was cold, freezing. My stuttered breathing came out in puffing blooms of frost. The walls around seemed to be bleeding with rust. Blue mould sprawled down them in flowering trestles of fungus. But worst of all was the ground. Its linoleum flooring was pooled with seepage from the black bin bags littered everywhere, leaking out in mulches of congealed sewage and soiled tissues and old vomit. The spotting on the gummy floor reminded me of the underwear after I'd first bled. All brown gore, water stains and bloody excrement. It was apparent that no nurses had come to clear the rubbish. In fact, it looked like no one had ever cleaned the hospital to begin with.
Wedging my hands behind her torso, I peeled the girl from the surgical chair. The sound it made was like ripping a plaster from an eggy wound, and sob tore itself from my throat. Her carcass landed on the floor with a heavy squelch. Tears burned in my eyes, but I didn't allow myself a moment to grieve. Snatching a scalpel from a hospital tray, I flung onto the chair and readied myself. This was it. The creature was going to be removed. And then the double doors opened. Its face was just as I remembered. Those milky eyes bulged down at me. They pulsated and throbbed, watery as though they were spawn about to burst forth. Slobber as yellow as egg yolks was frothing down its chin, and its mouth looked like a scab torn open. Upon seeing it again, the thing I had spent so long trying to forget, I knew then that I wanted to die. This creature, it is planted inside of me, would grow, and that thought alone was incomprehensible. Would it just eat its way through me? How could this even have happened? I felt filthy, so goddamn filthy. It stood there silently, watching me. I realised then that there was no escape. No matter where I turned in this hospital, no matter what dark corners of my mind I ran to, or what I tried to cut out from myself, I couldn't get away from what it had done to me. And with this acceptance came my defeat. The scalpel slid from my palm and clattered to the cold, filthy linoleum floor. There were no other noises in that room besides the quiet gasps of my uneven breathing.
Back for life, my arse. Oh, I swear I sprained my ankle back there. I'll give it a massage if you like. I swear I had a lighter on me. Why the bloody hell have I walked all the way up here? Let's crack one open. Oh, it's freezing up here. Am I sexist? Anyway, let's get on with this. I can't believe it was on this very spot 10 years ago. All those students were murdered. Oh, God, can I have some cheese with that ham? Oh, apparently, if you're really quiet, you can still hear their pleas for help. Well, that's bollocks, isn't it? Let me tell you a ghost story. Oh, this is going so well. I can smell the tutu already. I'm such an annoying twat. Wait a second. This isn't mine. Fuck. That would make a great creepy setup. Sammy sits around a campfire to tell a spooky story that's been planted in his pocket by a supernatural being. Oh, come on, Sammy. Just read the fucking story. Fog seeped between the dead wood, undulating and swelling as if it were a living entity. A tremor ran down his spine, but the weight of the shotgun holstered to his back grounded him. John mastered himself through heavy breaths. Each lungful cleansed his gut of fear and his mind of doubt. Penny looked to the tree line, then mirrored his movements, huddling closer to rest the head on his elbow. Dan fell further and further behind. The space between the echoes of his steps hitting the cement slowed over time, transforming into scuffled drag. Eventually, there was no sound but Dan's broken sobs. Finally, he could get rid of that stench. Penny turned, pulling on John's sleeve. "Daddy, stop! Dan's fallen down!" John remained facing forward.
Creaking, then groaning, buried beneath the mound of juicy bodies and skeletal corpses, he saw two black, inking eyes emerge, bulging, barely contained within their hollowed sockets attached to the skull, the shape a mix between that of a human and serpent. The glistering wet mass parted as the fractured form raised its long neck, revealing quivering black barbed spines that ripped holes through its charred flesh. A thick mucosal liquid dripped from a gaping hole in its head, running fervently in rivulets between the fold of its rotten gargoyle face. John tried to back further away as the creature's maw hinged open to reveal a circular set of protruding chipped fangs. A gelatinous tongue rolled forth from a prison of teeth to lower out by its gluttonous jowls, releasing the pungent stench of sulphur and burnt ash. The limp shreds of tissue that hung heavily from its jutted jaw trembled as it let loose a guttural growl that shook the air. Layers of spongy sludge slopped off its back onto the pavement, with a hard slap as it rose further from under the pile, mouth dripping, nauseous fluid that fizzled as it landed off the nest of swollen corpses. Sulphuric pus oozed out of the pulsating open pores as 4 elongated limbs sprouted from the skeletal torso, snapped into the odd angles. Ripe exposed tendons twisted in a rope like a manor where all that connected the creature's ribcage to its hips and hind legs which resembled those of a feline. Long yellow stained claws gorged out from the creature's curled knuckles. With its heavy mass of bones spread equally between 4 appendages, it moved smoothly. The clack of claws and the wet slap of liquid hitting the stones signalled the creature's perfectly predatory movements. The eldritch master closed in. John raised his shotgun.
Probably a 2-1.